The Song of the Welkin Moon teaser and concept overview just dropped, and there's a lot to unpack. We've met the cast, seen the full map of Nod-Krai, and confirmed that Columbina is in fact the moon goddess, worshipped by the people of Nod-Krai. So without wasting any time, let's get right into it. So first up is the Grand Master of Mondstadt, Varka. He claims to have come here for the moon. But why? What is his connection? It could tie back to Boreas, the Wolf of the North. It's said that Andreas received his powers from an ancient god, possibly the goddess of the Frostmoon herself. Even his name seems to be derived from Hyperborea, hinting that he might have originated from there. Varka was known to frequently visit Boreas before setting out on his expedition. Now with the Frostmoon dying, if Boreas' power really does come from the moon goddess, then the moon's fading will and the dying moon may pose problems for him. As the Knight of Boreas, Varka could have gone to Nod-Krai to try and save the moon, possibly after being warned by Boreas himself about the consequences this would have for all of Teyvat. It's even said that he brought 80% of the Knights of Favonius with him, and is still summoning more people from Mondstadt, including Toma's mother. It feels like he's preparing for a major battle, perhaps with the Fatui or something even more ancient, like a threat hinted at by Nicole. Nicole is one of the witches of the Hexenzirkel and a prophetess who can speak directly into people's minds. Her design, particularly her star-shaped pupils, the wings, and the shimmering crown, align with the description of the angels from the finale of the Deep Galleries artifact set. She may have been an angel from Hyperborea who became human after watching the rest of her race turn into Sealies. In Nod-Krai, she warns that an ancient shadow brandishes its hunting claws, taking aim at the stars, possibly referring to the return of Nibelung. But isn't he dead? Well, think back to Gosoithoth in Natlan, an abyssal being that mimicked the pyro dragon Shuhuatl through memories stored in the ley lines. This monster Nicole talks about has the abyss written all over it. Even in the Flower of the Paradise Lost artifact set, the goddess of flowers says that the calamity between the abyss and the stars grow ever emergent. If there's anything we learned from Skirk, it's that the abyss exists everywhere and it's not exclusive to Teyvat. Then a monster returning from space isn't far-fetched. Another reason it could be Nibelung that's returning is due to the rules not applying in Nod-Krai. In the shadows where the rules cannot reach, even death is no respite from torment. So even those who have passed still are tormented by the abyss. This could explain why the Wild Hunt is described and depicted as ghostly abyss-corrupted entities roaming Nod-Krai. So it's possible that Nibelung could return as one of those corrupted spirits. And speaking of Nibelung, we learned that he was the one who created the moons during the time before the heavenly principles, when life and death weren't separate and willpower flowed freely among countless beings. After failing to stop the heavenly principles, Nibelung left the planet in search of forbidden knowledge, returning corrupted and sparking a final war that killed him. The Nod-Krai overview says that the remnants that failed to become moons slumbered in the sea, becoming a refuge for the northern exiles. This suggests that the dragons also attempted to create other moons as well, and those broken remnants may have ended up around Nod-Krai, possibly the materials the Fatui are now using to forge a new moon. But this idea of will energy or willpower is something that's reoccurring. In The Little Witch and the Undying Flame, a book penned by the Hexenzirkel, will energy is described as the energy of a planet's living beings. In the finale of the Deep Galleries artifact set, the Voyager, who's most likely the second descender, only came to Teyvat because Nibelung's will shined so brightly. So perhaps Nibelung granted the moon goddesses some of his willpower, granting them life and authority to reign over the night skies. But now the video suggests that willpower can no longer be transferred, likely due to the influence of the heavenly principles. But exploring this topic in depth is something I'll leave for another video. And who among us may know the truth about the moons? Ineffa. The 5.8 trailer strongly hints that she's a robot created by the dragons, powered by a secret source core. She's missing her memories, and in the trailer we see glitchy fragmented visuals, possibly her trying to recall them. One scene shows the moon fragments falling, with someone saying, "They pulled down the moon." If that happened during the time of the moon's destruction, the only force capable of doing so would be the dragons. But if it was post-cataclysm, it might have been the Fatui. Knowing that attempts at creating other moons were made, the fragments brought down by them could also belong to the failed moons instead. Alongside Ineffa are Aino and Jehoda, both likely being mechanics of the Clink-Clank Krumkake Craftshop. and Aino being the one who repaired Ineffa. Durin is also seen with them, perhaps suggesting that several factions have already joined forces with each other. Knights of Favonius, the Craftshop, perhaps even the Hexenzirkel. We also met Flins, whose design suggests that he's a Lightkeeper, tasked with defending Nod-Krai from the Wild Hunt. We see ghostly arms reaching out for him, as he says, "I'm not the one you're looking for," while staring at a tombstone, possibly belonging to whom the spirits of the Wild Hunt are actually after. Then there's the Fatui, stationed on Paha Isle, the northernmost part of Nod-Krai. Their stronghold, the Kuvaki Experimental Design Bureau, hosts multiple harbingers, dottore, Sandrone, and likely Piero as well. In the teaser, Columbina is introduced not as a harbinger, but as a moon maiden. The overview even shows a statue of her worshipped by the Frostmoon Scions, confirming her identity as a moon goddess, the very one worshipped by the Frostmoon Scions. But take a closer look. The statue is encased in a metal frame, likely placed by the Fatui to extract power from it. This suggests that Columbina, at least for the Nod-Krai cycle, may not be acting with the Fatui. In the God's Limits teaser, the Fatui are ordered to retrieve her from Nod-Krai and keep the Frostmoon Scions from interfering. It seems like Columbina is not listening to Fatui orders of her own accord, perhaps because her goals conflict with theirs. If she refused to cooperate, they may now be trying to harvest the power from her using the statues, or even harvest the very will energy that remains in the Frost Moon to infuse into the new moon. As the moon's will fades, and with her form glitching, she may be fading along with the moon's light since her very existence is tied to that of the moon. The Frostmoon Scions are the direct descendants of Hyperborea based on Hisi Island. When the first angel fell in love with the Voyager from beyond, she revealed to him the secrets of creating life, something reserved for the heavens alone. From this, the Scions were born, Frostmoon light woven into flesh and blood. But this betrayal by the angels was what invited the wrath of the heavenly principles, ending the civilization of Hyperborea. And so we meet Lauma, likely a priestess, referring to herself as a scion of Hyperborea. When she cuts her hand, her blood is silver, likely due to the very light of the frost moon that runs in her veins. Then there's Nefer, whose name and design suggests that she's from Sumeru. But what's her role in all of this? We've met members from almost every faction. The Fatui, Lightkeepers, Frostmoon Scions, Knights of Favonius, the Craftshop, the Hexenzirkel, but not yet the Voynich Guild. Nefer might be the boss lady of the Curatorium of Secrets, or a special member of the Voynich Guild, which operates out of Nasha Town in the southernmost region of Nod-Krai. Also present is Alice, another Hexenzirkel witch and Klee's mother. Known as the sustainer of the world's borders, she seems to be plotting something with Albedo and maybe even Durin, who now has a human form. Since Nod-Krai lies on the world's edge, it makes sense Alice is there, perhaps entrusted with that role by Asmodee, the Shade of Space. And lastly, we have Wanderer. He likely arrived with Albedo and Durin, but now he has his own motives in Nod-Krai, to settle his own scores with dottore and the Fatui. So it seems like Nod-Krai is where everything is converging. These lore drops alone could fill another video, so leave your thoughts and theories in the comments and consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.